Rupert Murdoch has used News Corporation's full-year results to send a clear message that he's still in charge and not planning to leave anytime soon. But in an apparent acknowledgement that the phone hacking scandal in Britain has taken a toll, Mr Murdoch said that if anything should happen to him in the short term, his deputy, Chase Carey, will take over the top job. It's long been thought that James Murdoch, who runs the British operations, was the anointed successor. Andrew Robertson reports.
After the disaster of the phone hacking scandal, now comes the battle to win back his shareholders. This morning, back in New York and back in charge, Rupert Murdoch was clearly happier dealing with analysts than indignant British politicians, unveiling a full-year profit that beat expectations.
Our company's operating and financial performance this quarter was exceptional, and our full-year results are very solid overall.
Net income for the fourth quarter fell 22% thanks to a loss on the sale of the MySpace website. For the year, though, net profit was up 8% to $2.7 billion on a 2% increase in revenue to nearly $33 billion.
I've looked at about over 50 of these results over the years, and to be honest, this is one of the best results that I've seen. Not just in terms of the earnings, but also in terms of the balance sheet and the cash flow. It was a very, very strong result, in my view.
Throw in a 27% increase in dividend and confirmation that a $5 billion share buyback will start next week, and investors were happy. News Corp voting shares added 4% amid the turmoil in the wider market. The biggest drivers of the profit result were cable network programming in the US, the 20th Century Fox movie division, and publishing, which includes all News Corporation's newspapers around the world. The Fox television network, also in the US, earned nearly $700 million. On a revenue basis, publishing leads the way with nearly $9 billion, but with profit of less than 10% of that. 2MG's Mike Mangan says on a purely financial basis, News Corporation probably should get out of newspapers, but he knows they won't.
Rupert says that he's sentimental towards newspapers. My cynical view of it is he's sentimental towards the political power that newspapers give him, and he's not going to give that up.
The two big questions hanging over News Corporation are corporate governance and the future of the 80-year-old Rupert Murdoch.
The board and I believe I should continue in my current role as Chairman and CEO, but make no mistake, Chase Carey and I run this company as a team.
Which for shareholder activist Stephen Mayne means the phone hacking scandal in Britain has changed nothing at News Corporation.
He's not going to do anything about the newspaper division, which is unpopular with analysts and investors. He's not changing the governance. He's not slowing down or stepping back. He's not going to remove the gerrymander. So for Rupert, it just seems to be digging in and business as usual.
And just in case the market hadn't heard, Mr Murdoch repeated his desire to stay and added a sting in the tail for his son and perceived successor, James Murdoch.
Well, I hope that the job won't be open in the near future. Chase is my partner. If anything happened to me, I'm sure he'll get it immediately, but if I went under a bus. But Chase and I have full confidence in James.
In other words, a public anointing of Chief Operating Officer Chase Carey as the next Chief Executive of News Corporation.
Whether Rupert can actually ever accept the idea that after 58 years, News Corp could be run by someone who's not called Murdoch remains to be seen.
While News Corporation was celebrating its profit result today, Rupert Murdoch knows full well his tight grip on the company now hinges on the outcome of the phone hacking investigations in both Britain and the United States.